Hello and welcome to the Cim50 Manufacturing Bill of Materials Module Overview. My name is Martin Connor and I'm the Commercial Manager here at Cim Software. Please feel free to jot down my email address if you need to contact me, and please feel free to review our website cim50.co.uk for further details, brochures and case studies. Today I'll be taking you through the Sage 50 Bill of Materials module. And this is one of a series of videos that I've recorded to take you into the modules in a little bit more depth than our overview. I will be looking to record further videos in the future. So the Cim50 Bill of Materials module is one of 6 modules in the Cim50 range. All are integrated with Sage 50 Accounts Professional. We have stock control, bills materials, quotations, planning, works orders and shop floor data capture. As I say, today we'll be focusing on the bill of materials module. So the Cim50 bill of materials module then is a module that is there to help you control the cost and stock of your built items, integrated with Sage 50 accounts. Our bills materials are multi-level and have as many components as you like, so they can be as wide and as deep as you want to. All material, labour, machine, setup, tooling, subcontract costings can be recorded against a bill of material. So unlike the Sage 50 accounts, you've just got you've got materials, but you can't cost those materials. We can cost the materials based on cost prices from Sage. We can also incorporate the labour, machine, setup, etc. throughout the bill of material to give you an accurate cost, so you can make better business decisions regarding the products that you manufacture. All amendments that you make to a bill of material are recorded in our audit log against each bill of material, and that's the theme across the modules. So stock control, we've got an audit log, bills materials, works orders have an audit log for their individual records within their modules. We have trial kitting, a little bit like check bomb in Sage 50 accounts, but this goes a step further because it will drop down through the sub-assemblies, it will identify shortages, it will allow you to raise purchase orders and works orders, create bomb builds, so you've got full control over what you need to raise as far as orders are concerned and manufacture. You can also do multi-trial kitting. So if you've got similar items that have got similar components, they will get taken into account. It's not a substitute for full-on planning and MRP, but it takes you a step in the right direction if you've been used to using maybe a spreadsheet or using the check bomb in Sage 50 accounts. You can build and reverse build sub-assemblies and finished items within Cim50 Bills of Material module. You can do multiple items within that. You can also disassemble if you needed to as well. So you get a kit of parts and you want to disassemble that to put the components that you've salvaged back into stock. Cim50 Bill of Materials also takes into account and respects the traceability of components and built items. So if you manufacture an item and you've got traceable components, they will be taken into account when you build. The system will prompt you for the relevant batches, and as you put an item into stock, it will also prompt you for a batch number for the item. Respecting those settings from the stock control module. We've got reporting, good business insights into data, so costing reports, pie charts, etc. We've also got indented parts lists, where use reports, those sorts of things. So all useful information to allow you to run your business from a manufacturing respect. So let's have a look at the Cim50 module. So just going to drop into Cim50. We'll start straight in at the bill of materials list. Much the same as the other modules, we've got new, amend, view, copy, reports and dashboards. Okay, and then we've got the features that run through the rest of the module. So for example, we were talking about trial kitting. We've also, in addition to trial kitting, we've got maximum build. Okay, build, reverse build, explode the bill of material out into its components, implode it from the bottom up. We can cost from here, okay, in the various reports. Okay, so if I pick on an individual bill of material, so the data set that we're using here today is office furniture again. So it's I'm going to pick on this oak desk. This list is only items that we manufacture, so finished items, sub-assemblies, phantoms, if you were to use those. And if I go into the amend function, we can start to see our bill of materials record. So we've got the BOM reference, we've got links back to the stock code, so we can get into the stock control. So if we wanted to maybe have a look at some of the information which related to this particular item, we can drop into there. When we maybe want to look at some of the MRP information from the bill of materials record, we can do that. Back at our bill of materials, so we've got various fields, so we've got revision numbers. We don't deal with full on version control, but we do have revisions, and any changes are recorded in the audit log. So it gives you sort of a really good sort of insight into those changes, and that revision number will carry across to works orders, so you can see what works order was raised against which revision of bill of material. We've got markup percentages for costings. We've got validity dates. We aren't able to raise works orders outside of those dates, those sorts of things. Overhead percentages for heating, lighting, etc. Instructions to appear on shop floor paperwork, maybe. Images, we can lock bills materials down so only certain people can amend those bills of materials. We can deal with kit bills of materials. That's quite an interesting feature. So that allows you to carry out a build on dispatch of a sales order. So if you don't stock this item, but you stock its components, you can bring those components together, maybe pop them in a box and dispatch it, all with one function of the sales order dispatch. We've also got the ability to provision batch and serial numbers on creation of a works order. So if you needed to provide the operators on the shop floor, the batch and serial number labels maybe, we can predefine those, print those labels out in the works orders, which we'll see in a future video. Moving down through the tab, so much the same as the stock control module, go down into components. We've got a list of components. So again, these are products from Cim50/Sage, 50 accounts. Very easy to sort of add an item onto here, so we can quickly add an item, or we can add and search for that item. We've got the ability to do that. There's various other fields for these items, so maybe scrap percentages, a fixed quantity, so we might need a box or a pallet per item that we're manufacturing, not per quantity, so that we can do that. We can assign components to a particular process if we wanted to. So maybe from a subcontracting point of view, we need to free issue components. We can detail those on a advice note to our subcontractor, which again, you want to see that when we get to the works orders. It may be that we want to record some custom fields against the component on the bill of material. We may want to add those to the list, so we can quickly add those if we needed to. Okay. Quantities, units. So if you were using multiple units of measure, okay, we can pick a multiple unit measure on the bill of material. So I'm saying that I need 20 each, or do I need so many of a box of 100? We can define that because that's been defined on that item in the stock control. If I move across to operations, so as well as having components, we've got the processes that need to be carried out to turn those components into an oak desk. So we need to fix the studs, we need to kit the assembly, we need to assemble, we need to inspect it. Okay, and if I move through these, we can see that we've got quantities and run times. So it's 15 minutes to do 20. We can have delays. We can set up whether the item is a primary resource. That comes in with the capacity planning and works order processing. We can have setup time. So it might be that we've got to set a machine up before we start processing. So that would be a per batch rather than a per quantity time. We can have labor times and costs, machine times and costs, and all of these can be set up in a register as well as the operations. So you can set defaults. We've got tooling costs. We've got instructions to appear on shop floor paperwork and then other. So whether we print it on a document or not, whether there's overlaps, whether there's piecework, that sort of thing. So this allows you to realize the full costing of the items that you manufacture, okay, to get those as accurate as possible. Under documents, we can have a drawing reference, which can appear on shop floor paperwork. We can have attachments, so we can attach files, folders, and we can open those. So it could be an Excel document, a drawing. As long as you've got a registered viewer and you've got access to the file, then you could open those up. Moving through to costing, so the last time that this was costed back in 2021, we had these costs recorded. So if I now cost that bill of material, we can see that we now have updated material costs, labor costs. So these costs, the material costs are coming from Sage, labor costs are coming from the bills of materials and the registers that you set up. We've got setup costs, machine costs, subcontract cost to maybe get something painted or plated. We've got a tooling cost, overheads if we'd had some overhead percentages set up, and then a unit cost. I can see that this was 100 and the date that it was carried out. We've got a suggested selling price and the sales price from Sage, so we can see if we're meeting our expected price. And you can see again our carbon footprint value starting to come through. So to make 100 of these, there's 778, just over 778 kg CO2 equivalent of carbon. So if you manufacture these items, that's what you'd be looking to offset. Okay, and we've got the carbon footprint calculator which would do that for you. Okay, to report that for you to take those values to the Carbon Trust maybe. So we've then got this data at the bottom here, so those figures are broken down, and I can get that, go deeper into that, so I can sort of dive into that detail of that data to find out maybe where those costs are coming from. Okay, right the way down through the bill of materials, so through my sub-assemblies, okay, from a component point of view, from an operation point of view. Okay, we can start to see those broken right down to the various elements of labor and machine times, setup times, etc. So these can be as granular as you want them to be. Okay, so we have people with sort of generic operations, manufacture, or right down to the very, very individual and very specific processes which need to be carried out. This will be printed out as well. We move to analysis. We can have up to 20 fields against each bill of material. Okay, so you can record various different pieces of information. You can set those up as a user with access rights to settings. And then we've got our audit log. Okay, so if I go and make a quick change, maybe I might want to change the quality standard. I save that record. I go back into it. If I go to the audit log, we can see there that who did it, when it was done, and what they changed from and to has been recorded in the audit log. Okay. So what can I do with a bill of material? Do have the ability to copy my bill of material from one item to another, choose the elements that I copy, and then go and change that new bill of material. I can trial kit my bill of material so I can see if I've got any shortages. Okay, so we can see that the status is okay. We haven't got any shortages. It's giving us a cost, etc., and kg CO2 equivalent, what components we require, what any setup time, maybe labor time for the 100, machine time, subcontract. Okay, then it's all pretty straightforward there. If I had any shortages, then I could raise purchase orders and works orders from there. And I can also, as I mentioned earlier, trial kit multiple items. So if I maybe pick the pine desk as well, I trial kit that in, now starts to break that down a little bit further because we've got some common parts. So if we start to look here, we've got some legs. Okay, so it's taking those into account. So we've got 400 less for the pine desk than for the oak desk because they're being consumed. Okay, and if we start to see, we can start to see the values in brackets, which are the sub-assemblies that these items are for. And what I can then do is I can go to raise purchase orders, and it will give me a list of shortages. If I raise the order from there, that will raise a purchase order back into Sage 50 accounts for me. Okay, so if I just drop to Sage 50 accounts, go to purchase orders, here we can see that there was a purchase order raised today for my edge pine for the quantity that we were short of. Okay, so saving time, you're not having to come back across to Sage 50 to manually input that data. And likewise, we can raise works orders if we had that module or a BOM build within the bill of materials. So just drop out of there. We can also do max build. So I know I could carry on and keep asking the system, how many can I make? Can I make 101, 102? No, what I want to do is say, how many can I make? And it will give me, say that I can make 130 of the oak desks and show me what the lowest denominator is, which is the desktops. I can build from here. I can build multiple items. So if I pop in a reference, a date, a quantity, so I'm just going to make one of these, okay, just to keep it simple. We can book it into quarantine or not. I've got the ability to override that item, and if I go process, it will do a quick check for me. I can see what I'm short of. Okay, rather than it just go, no, you can't do that. Where have I got those shortages? So it's sort of doing a bit of the trial kitting within the BOM build to show me where I've got some shortages. So if I go off and build that, oh, sure, I want to complete that. I'm going to say yes. So what that will now do is recognize that these components are traceable, and it's asking me to confirm the traceable information. I'm just going to go on first in, first out basis just to keep it nice and easy. But if I had multiple batches, I could choose different batches. It's also recognized that this item is traceable, but it's manually entered batch number. Okay, I'm going to make one of those. I could split the batch down if I wanted to. I'm going to confirm that. I can add additional information if I wanted to. So use by dates, sell by dates, if that was of importance to your business. That's now complete. So if I drop back to stock control and look in this item and go to view, we can see in the history that we've got a BOM build test that's been updated. Okay, and if I look at my batches for that item, there's my batch that I've created. If I go to the draw oak and view, that's updated the history and took the BOM build out today. So back to my bills of materials, I can also reverse build. So maybe I just, that build that I just carried out, it was a mistake. What I can do is I could reverse that, and it's still available. We've not booked it out of stock. I could reverse that, and it would put, take that item out of stock, put the components back into stock for me. I can explode my bill of material out, so I can see a nice, neat presentation of the tree view of the bill of material from top to bottom, with description, sequence, quantities. You can go off and view a particular bill of material if you want to, view a stock item. So giving you that 360-degree view across the system and just showing you how the modules are now starting to link together. I can also go from the bottom up. So maybe I put in, look at the ply, so the plywood sheets go into the drawer bases. The drawer bases go into these drawer sets. Drawer sets go into these different desks, and there is a desk which goes into a customized pack. Okay, so I can go right from the bottom. So if we were looking to change our ply, we could see what bills and materials this affects. We can cost from here as well. So I could cost multiple bills and materials. So I might want to cost all of my bills and materials. It might be the beginning of the year and then I want to cost them. You can automate the costing as well if you needed to within the system. If I go to reports, we've got things like where used reports, indented parts lists. So these are all reports which are relevant to the bill of materials module within Cim50. And again, we use Crystal reports for our report generator. So any reports that need to be amended you'd need to use Crystal reports. So just refreshing the dashboard data, as we've been carrying out some work here. So if I drop into the dashboards, we can start to see we haven't got any bill of materials. The cost is higher than the selling price, which is good. We can start to see some of those differences if we needed to. Build volumes by week and build value by week. So we've only done that one build, so there's not that much data in there, but we can start to see some of that information coming through on the dashboards. This is one of many dashboards from the Cim50 solution. Okay. So thank you for your time today. As far as next steps are concerned, further details, brochures and case studies can be found at cim50.co.uk. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email info@cim-software.co.uk. And thank you for joining me today on this overview. Thank you.